Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Anime Overanalyst here, and today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Black Clover. Well, as you know, I've been doing those analysis videos for the openings, I guess. They're more of a breakdown slash just me stating my opinions. But I have recently caught up to the manga, so I just thought I'd give and talk about my thoughts about the manga for just a little bit. So, yes, I've caught up to the manga. I have not caught up to where the anime is. The last episode of the anime that I believe I saw was when Asta defeated those uh those guys right after the time skip. When he just kind of sent those villagers back to their homeland in the Spade Kingdom. In fact, that episode or that episode afterwards was the one where the dude shows up to Yuno and goes, "Hey, Yuno, Lord Yuno, some that type of stuff." And then I picked up the manga from that point. Well, okay, I've been reading the manga for the past uh semester, I suppose. No, I think it's been almost about 6 months. Ever since I caught up to One Piece, I started reading Black Clover, basically, and I was reading it off and on for a solid couple weeks, up until recently when I was like, okay, I'm just gonna binge read like hundreds of chapters a night, and that's kind of what I did for a couple weeks ago. And so I never really made a video about what I wanted to talk about in Black Clover, mainly because it was just kind of my own little thing. But now that the anime has ended, at least the season has ended for now, I feel like right now is a pretty decent time for me to talk about it. So, yes, keep in mind, I have not seen the last 10 episodes, maybe. So I don't know what exactly went on in the anime. However, having read the manga and knowing a little bit of where the anime's at just by what I've seen people react to, it's really fascinating. So, yes. I I think my favorite part about the uh, the whole situation that Black Clover is in right now is the introduction of the character Not. Um, he's a real fascinating character in his own right, but I think the thing that I really liked the most about it right here is that it was kind of foreshadowed, and it was foreshadowed in a way that it was foreshadowed by not being foreshadowed, if you get what I mean. So all the other guilds had vice captains. And this is something that Black Clover has been kind of known for, is that they'll omit information just because people never brought it up. And in this case, everyone has a vice cap. All the guilds have vice captains, but it was never brought up in the Black Bulls on where theirs is, except for maybe in the beginning, maybe Asa asked someone, it's like, "Where's our vice captain?" And someone may have replied, wandering around. I think I remembered something about that, but otherwise, there was literally no mention about it. And I like it. I like that because when Noct was introduced, it didn't feel like just kind of out of nowhere. He's like, "Oh, I'm the vice captain of the Black Bulls." So I'm like, duh, of course you are, because the Black Bulls doesn't currently have a vice captain. And no one ever brought it up. And so, yeah, I like it. I like that. I like the whole aspect of not knowing. So now where the manga is at, it's taking place in the Battle of the Spade Kingdom. And that in itself is actually really fascinating. I've been loving reading those chapters recently, just all dealing with the battle against the devils in the Spade Kingdom. Just super fascinating. Noct has this really cool battle against two devils that, let's just say, Noct kind of surpasses his limits. which is really interesting. And I love his backstory. I don't know if it states it in the anime, but Nock's backstory is really quite fascinating. How he was, he had a brother who was more of like the pure magic knight, and he was just kind of like the rogue. And I wonder how much Yami had an influence on him and vice versa. From what I've kind of gathered, they're like they may have influenced each other, and that's really really cool. I just like the dynamic, between the two while Yami was, still with him. And I just love the whole, you know, how he hates the phrase surpass your limits. Because if you think about it logically, your limit is supposed to be your end. Like, you can't surpass your limits. That's kind of a paradox. You know, the limit is the limit. You can if you can surpass it, then it's not a limit. That's kind of the point. But what Yami means by surpass your limits, of course, is that to go beyond what you think you can handle, which is literally what Black Clover is. Black Clover is really an anime about, I almost want to say about mental health, honestly. And maybe that's why I really love Asta so much. It's because he's so positive, and he's kind of the positive light in everybody's kind of own little darkness, how they fight their own mental struggles. You have Noelle, who doesn't feel like she can live up to her siblings. She doesn't feel like she can live up to her mother, just their power level. She can't live up to her family. Then we've got Vanessa, for example, who had been sheltered her entire life, been caged, and never been able to be set free. And she literally goes, and she's probably the most free-willed person of the guild. And that is, you can really tell in her design, because all she wears is like a swimsuit. And I think that in itself, that's a reflection of Vanessa's character on like how she was able to try and free herself. So there's that. There's Luck, whose struggle is that he doesn't feel like anyone can love him except his mother. In the beginning, the reason why he was kind of like the happy-go-lucky type of person, always kind of all over the place, is because he thought he was being strong for his mother. And at the end of the whole, or when Magna, Vanessa, and Austin defeat him during the Eye of the Midnight Sun arc, Luck literally has this moment where he's like, I'm still part of the guild, right? And he's smiling but crying at the same time. And that's really powerful, because Luck hasn't felt that type of emotion. He hasn't really expressed sorrow. He's been the go happy lucky guy. And so when he does express another emotion, it really takes another toll. And those are just, the three examples from the Black Bulls. There are plenty of examples from everyone in all the other guilds on how people tackle their inner demons. And that's what I love about Black Clover. I really love just how it tackles mental health. And I feel like that's something that anime doesn't tackle very well. Like, I'm trying to think of an anime that really, really tackles the differences in mental health and mental psychology. And I really can't think of one. I know that there's some anime that tackles certain aspects really well. Like, the manga of Berserk is really good with talking about depression and isolation and maybe some PTSD. But the Black Clover really expresses a whole wide range of mental disorders and mental health. And then it attributes it to magic. And that's what fuels its magic system. The magic system, yes, they say it's fueled by mana, but really mana is just the potential energy. It's the mental health of the person, their state of mind, that really oppresses or really allows them to be powerful. And I wonder if that's part of the society. You know how the rich nobles are always oppressing the lower folk, saying that being the rich nobles, they're loved by man, they're loved by everything. And then the lower nobles, they don't have anything. And I wonder if part of that oppression, it inflicts on the mental health of the lower people, and they believe that they have lower mana. They're not loved by mana, so that's why they're not powerful. It's because they've been batted over the head over and over again that they're not powerful. And so that's why when and Asta, who, sure, is technically a noble, and Asta, I honestly still don't know Asta's origins, although my theory is that he's related to Lysita at some point. Lysita is the one that kind of helped mother Asta's demon, his own demon, whose name escapes me right now. But yeah, just I think that's what I really wanted to talk about in this video. I know that it's more of a rambling video, and I wasn't initially wanting to talk about the mental health, but this is something that the more I talk about it, the more I actually really like to think about it. And I think now that, I've talked about it some more, I might come out with a part 2 to this video where I actually really express, like, maybe more specific cases of mental health or mental disorders within Black Clover and how well it portrays it, because it is a very, very fascinating topic. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for checking out this video. I've been the Anime Overanalyst, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!